Mic test. Hello everyone, so we are live again. Today is day 4 of the 60 day 60-minute challenge. So as you might be aware, we have already shared the doc link. Uh, this doc that we are using, the link is in the description below, so you can check it out. Also regarding the syllabus, now you can check the syllabus on UGCNET 17.in/syllabus. If you go here, you can see the syllabus that we had discussed previously. So we'll just discuss it again in brief before starting. So UGC Net Management, UGC has classified 10 units, and based on my experience, 10 marks are asked from each unit. So if you can see for unit 1 for 10 marks, these are the topics. Then for unit 2, UGC has put topics from here till here into unit 2. I believe they have done this, they have mixed up some topics of OB and HRM so that all the units can have equal weightage, and that's why 10 marks. They have just given us 10 units of equal weightage. And what we have done on this page is divided the units based on the theory topics. So it is easy for you to study one subject matter. So unit 1, business management and managerial economics, you can see all the topics are there. Since it is the same as unit 1, we can say from 10 marks, 10 marks is asked. Organization behavior, you can see this is the portion, and based on the questions on our website, there are around 1200 questions, 12 papers, out of which based on the number of questions that belong to this unit, out of those 1200, we have come to the conclusion that uh, around every year 8 marks questions are asked from this unit. Similarly, from human resource management, 12 marks every year is asked. Managerial accounting 6, financial management 14 marks, strategic management 5 marks, marketing management, very big unit indeed, 15 marks, business statistics operation 10, and international business management 10, and entrepreneurship 10. Yeah. So we have divided it like this, so it is easy for you to study, as opposed to UGC in a classification where, let's say, uh, in the UGC classification here, like if you start with unit 5, you will be starting somewhere between. So you will have less idea of like how to proceed and less knowledge about the previous topic. So that's why we have divided it unit wise, so it is easy for you to study based on, like, you can start, as we have discussed previously, you should always start with topics which you are familiar with from these to cover. So let's say if you are from mm, if you're from marketing, sales and marketing, so marketing management you can start with directly. You can get initially get a boost and get the 15 marks in your pocket by studying all these topics and then moving ahead to other topics. So that's how you can proceed. So UGC NET 17 syllabus link share. This is the link. We'll put it in the description below as well. YouTube asking to share username for quiz questions export. Yeah, this we have to do. We have to make a YouTube video. So this is done. So checklist. This is also done. Continue studying day 4. Now we come to day 4. So our aim right now will be to continue studying unit 1 and try to cover as much portion as possible. So yeah, that was a good recap. of the previous days. 5 minutes in. Let's continue learning. This we had completed. Okay, social systems we remember we discussed this belongs to organizational behavior, so maybe we'll shift it there. So yesterday, if you remember, we were discussing Henry Fayol theory of in one of his book. He published two theories: the 14 principles of management and the five functions of management. We were discussing the 14 principles of management. We went through around 9 or 10 the first, and then the rest were remaining. So let's go. Just a quick recap. So the first comes division of work. There should be specialization of role. One person should not do all the jobs. You can divide the tasks in, and give one person one task to do the whole day. It increases specialization. It will decrease the time for him to do that job. He will get better at it. You want to see a practical example of it? Try this. Do a 7-day challenge. From the first day, let's say you try to do 1000 skips per day. See how much time it takes you for the first day, mm, mm, and check how much time it takes you to do 1000 skips by the end of day 7. What you'll observe is, because you're doing that task every day, your brain is getting smarter, and it is trying to find more efficient ways of doing it. If say first day you took around 2 to 3 hours, 3 hours for those 1000 skips, by the end of 7 days you will do it under 2 hours. So that is how division of work weeks. If the same task you do it again and again, you will automatically find ways over time to do it more efficiently to save time. Second is authority and responsibility. Every task, there should be someone responsible. That if you are let's say if you are the plant manager, you have authority to manage everyone, but you have the responsibility to make sure that there is as much as minimum downtime as possible of the plant, considering you have orders to manufacture or produce. So authority and responsibility. Then unity, discipline. Okay, discipline. Every employee must follow organization rules and agreements. In operation, discipline is vital for ensuring safety, standard work procedure, and maintaining quality control. No need to take unnecessary actions on the shop floor. You can follow the SOP so that the works get done and there is less chances of um, accidents or issues. Unity of command. Every person should report to only one superior to avoid confusion. Do not report to multiple superiors, mm, so that there is more clarity on the type of work you do and the evaluation is better. Then comes unity of direction. What it means is people having similar objectives should be grouped together. For example, people having tasks related to production, such as someone is one person employee is tasked with procurement, another employee is tasked with uh, MRP, material resource planning, another one is planned with inventory or inventory tracking. So these employees should work directly under someone who is responsible for the supply chain management. It shouldn't happen that someone who's working in, say, inventory management is reporting to someone who manages finance. So that's not a very good synergy to follow. So yeah, that is a unity of direction. Now we go to yeah, subordination of individual interest to general interest. Every department should not work individually or in silos. We should try to see how overall it will benefit the firms. So we discussed about sales department and production department, how they might ask for different number of pieces to produce in the coming festive season. So both should sit down and discuss together what is best for the organization, and not as per the individual interest, where in this case it is in the interest of the sales department or in the interest of production department. Remuneration of personnel. Employees should be fairly compensated for their contribution in operations. Providing competitive wages and benefits is essential for retaining talent and motivating employees. Yeah, so the evaluation must be fair and contribution accordingly. There should not be any personal bias. And yeah, a fair system in a manufacturing unit can motivate employees to meet production targets and stay loyal to the company. And always try to remember, if you by all these actions, if you get any value, always remember to pass it. Also pass some of its value to the customers and to the employees working for you. Centralization and decentralization of power. The balance between centralized decision making is the top and decentralized decision making. Okay. Centralization versus decentralization. Centralization decision making. The top management takes a decision, passes on to middle management, who enforces it in lower management. That is what is centralization of power. Decentralization of power. Uh, mm, People are more people have more authority, like more control over their day-to-day activities and how they contribute to the company or the firm. So there has to be a right amount of uh, balance between these two. It shouldn't be fully centralized, it shouldn't be fully decentralized. The right balance required depending on the type of operations that are done at the firm, meaning what type of produce a product is produced or manufactured, and also what type of organization is it. Is it a goods manufacturing organization? Is it a service based organization? Everything plays a role in deciding the right balance of centralization versus decentralization of power. A scalar chain of command. A clear chain of authority within the organization should exist. In operations, this ensures that the tasks are performed in a systematic and structured manner with clear reporting line. Factory worker reports to a supervisor, who in turn reports to production manager, ensuring smooth communication. Yeah. So this is similar to what we discussed on the unity of direction and scalar chain of command. The reporting mechanism should be clear. Order. Both human and physical resources should be properly organized in operations. Maintaining order leads to efficiency, less waste, and workflows. Also, organizing raw material, tools, and workstations in a factory so that they are easily accessible leads to smoother production process. True. We should try to decrease the entropy of the system, which is the element of amount of chaos in the system. So if raw inventory stored everywhere around the production shop floor, there is no specific place to get inventory from. What will happen is, while getting the raw materials, there is not a central location to get the inventory. Every time the worker will spend more time in searching for the inventory where it is kept. So centralization, like keeping inventory specifically at a specified place, is better. So it decreases activities like this decrease the chaos of the system, which is called like the entropy. So here it is called order. And also there is less fatigue for the user in doing the same operation. Equity. Employees should be treated fairly with respect in operation. Fairness helps maintain morale and positive working environment, leading to higher productivity. Again, this is on the same line of remuneration of personnel, but in remuneration of personnel, it was based on payment wages. Here they are saying about the treatment of the people. Both are related to biases, but yes. One is talking about the financial aspect, one is talking about the moral aspect. Stability of tenure of personnel. Organization should aim to reduce turnover and retain experienced employees. In operations, a stable workforce improves efficiency and reduces the cost of training and employees. What happens over time, people will observe that as a person spends more time in the company, it is expected that his mat um, remuneration or his CTC in Indian terms should increase over time because of his contribution and also because of his experience. But once the employee gets too much experience, he might be removed, and like two uh, people with less number of years of experience should be brought in his place, which will lead to like the workload would be divided between two, and overall the package would be less than the uh, mm, person who has more experience. So this might seem as a cost-cutting, like efficient move to improve improvement and cost cutting, but many times it leads to bad outcomes because they do not the newcomers, although they are very capable, do not have the experience to deal with the particular situations that arise in the organization. So there might be initial hiccup which might affect the flow and in turn the inventory production process, and as such. Also, I'm from just for a highlight, I'm from an operations management background, so most of my examples will be related to uh, supply chain management and the factory floor. Although the this whole operation management, mm, this management examination is based on management. So if you're from some different background, you can have different types of examples for this. So that's totally fine. Initiative. Employees should be encouraged to take initiative and contribute ideas in operation management. Operations encouraging initiatives helps foster innovation and continuous improvement. So for this, there is one book called Atomic Habits, which portrays it very simply that every day you should aim for 1% improvement over yesterday, which when compounded over the year and over the decades is substantial amount of improvement. So yeah, no matter what the scenario, always try to improve it by 1%. And also it feels very much achievable. Let's say we are doing this live stream, my aim would be every day to, what we are doing in day one, day two, day three. If you see, every day we are trying to improve small things which is would be better overall. So it leads to at the end of 60 days, let's say we to improve everything, so one thing or two things every day, it will lead to substantial changes by the end of the 60 days. Or let's say for 60 days we are studying every day for 1 hour. Initially it might not seem much. For example, if you see on we are on day 4 but we have reached only on the second subunit of the first unit, but over time, at the end of 60 days, we will be much better equipped to answer the questions and, yeah, be much better prepared for the UGC NET Management examination. And last, um, team spirit, let's say. Promoting harmony and teamwork within the organization is essential in operations. A sense of unity and collaboration leads to more motivated and effective work. Creating a team-oriented environment where production workers cooperate with maintenance and logistics teams to ensure smooth workflow for better results. There should always be a sense of harmony among your workforce. It helps in overall fostering the morale of the group, and also the teamwork is better. This can be observed everywhere, even in your classrooms, even in your workforce, in the production floor, even in your if it's in your teams, if it is an IT organization, the team project teams that you work in, the promotion of harmony and teamwork within the organization is essential. I will say this during my after my MBA, during my uh, just after my MBA, the first job that I was doing as an associate consultant. At Inspiraj, yeah, during my tenure at Inspiraj, it let's say it wasn't noticeable as long as I was there. But once I shifted to another organization, I could understand the uh, sense of harmony and teamwork that was promoted in Inspiraj from the higher management level was uh, very much conducive and helped in employee satisfaction compared to the other organizations. That much I could say. So at Inspiraj, I would say some mm, people in particular, the vertical heads that I had working in, where I was fortunate enough that, yeah, they had this fostering of harmony and teamwork within the organization. They took efforts to try to have it, and yeah, the overall feeling it worked. Although was work, but it was more satisfying. There was little fatigue. It felt more meaningful. Although the you can say amount of work was more comparatively to first job after MBA. So yeah, sure. But it never felt too much of a fatigue or even if stress afterwards. Once you accomplish the task, it felt good. Overall, there were good meaningful connections and teamwork and harmony in the organizations, which gave a sense of belonging to the organization. Also the principles that the company was standing for. The company was a Gartner listed supply chain company having a workforce of around 700 people competing with the likes of other large MNCs. So, yeah, it also gave a sense to the whole organization to its employees. So, team spirit very much important, can say, especially in IT companies where you in a manufacturing company people can there are more metrics to measure because you are a goods manufacturing company. In IT companies, such activities like most of the work you do is intangible, so it is difficult to measure intangible metrics, and most probably those intangible metrics are not standardized. So that leads a problem, but maintaining team spirit harmony is very much important, especially in IT companies. So yeah, that was based on my experience. Now, so we have covered all the 14 principles. We'll mark it as complete. We'll go to 5 functions of management. According to Fayol, management involves key 5 functions that are crucial to achieving organizational objectives. These 5 functions are planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling. So starting with planning, planning involves now according to Fayol, management involves key 5 functions that are crucial to. Okay. This is at the start of any project planning. Planning involves setting goals, defining strategies, determining the action to achieve those goals. Okay. It helps managers anticipate future conditions, foresee challenges, and outline the steps for the organization growth and progress. A company plans its production schedule, marketing strategies, and financial forecast to ensure the future success. So first, you make a plan on the long-term side, long to mid-term. Company plans its production schedule, marketing strategies, and financial forecast to ensure success. Second, organize. If I have planned that I need to produce 1000 units every month, or I have a marketing, let's say I want to reach an audience of 10 lakh people every month, and I want to retain 1 lakh people, or let's say financial forecast, I want to construct start my offices in 2 new regions. So this has to be planned ahead. These are macro level decisions. which will affect the long-term growth. So it has to be planned in advance. So the first stage is planning. Second comes organizing, where you now arrange the resources that are required to accomplish those tasks. So it ensures that resources are used effectively, and it creates a structure to facilitate coordination and delegation. Then comes commanding leading. When so now you had an aim, you brought the team together. Now initially there will definitely be friction because they are not used to working together, so which has to be overcome. So commanding or leading is the act of directing and motivating employees to achieve the organization's goal. A good leader provides guidance, communicates effectively, and inspires the team to perform well. A manager motivates their team during a project, resolves conflicts, and ensures everyone stays on task. Once initial phase is passed and initial hiccups are taken care of, then the phase comes of coordinating, where coordinating involves ensuring that different parts of the organization work efficiently together. All the departments or functions work harmoniously together to achieve organizational goals. The marketing department coordinates with the sales and production department to ensure that promotional campaigns align with product availability. And controlling involves monitoring and evaluating the progress towards the goal, ensuring that everything is on track. It helps identify any deviation from the plan and makes it possible to take corrective actions. A manager reviews financial statements to ensure that the company is meeting its budget and takes corrective action. So this is cruise control. Controlling involves monitoring and evaluating the progress. So these functions should work together. So first you plan, then you organize, bring the team together. Third, you command so that they get over the initial hiccup. Fourth, you coordinate, so everything is working correctly. And fifth, controlling is basically monitoring or evaluation. You can say monitoring, so that everything is working together correctly, smoothly. We are achieving the objectives. So now this also we mark as complete. Okay, we come to the next topic. Uh, Max Weber, 1921, bureaucratic management theory. So we require four stuff. First, name of the theory, second, year, third, author, fourth, in next one or two lines, fourth and fifth, what is the theory about? So Max Weber's bureaucratic management theory, 1921, developed by Max Weber. He believed that organizations should be managed by a set of clear, rational rules to ensure efficiency, stability, and fairness. Weber's theory emphasizes on career orientation, impersonality, authority, hierarchy, division of labor, formal sector. So key characteristics there are five. First, hierarchical structure. Organizations should have a clear chain of command. Each employee knows who they report to and what authority they have. If you remember, this is covered under some other topic under 14 principles of management. Rules and regulations. Bureaucracies operate under a set of rules and standard operating procedures that govern how work is to be done. These rules ensure predictability and consistency in performance. Second rule, there should be rules and regulation. Third, specialization and division of labor. We already discussed in 14 principles. Fourth, impersonality. Bureaucratic organization operate in personal matter, meaning decisions are based on rules, not personal biases or preferences. This ensures fairness. So again, this was covered under 14 principles, right, by Henry Fayol. It was remuneration of personal and equity, treatment fairly. Then we come to career orientation. Employee in a bureaucracy is based on qualification and merit. Employees are selected and promoted based on their skill and experience. Formal communication in bureaucratic system, maybe initially it was 5, later on extended to 6. In bureaucratic system, communication follows a formal channel. Information flows through official channels and proper documentation is maintained. So now you know the six steps. Most of these are covered in the 14 principles of management, are developed by for you. But here you can see it focuses on rationality or these characteristics. It's he says are of bureaucracy, and maybe it can belong to organization structure. Maybe because it is bureaucracy. Theory yeah, and it is more logic driven if you see as less to from an EQ standpoint of view. However, Max Weber's bureaucratic theory has been questioned and critiqued in modern times, largely for reasons pressure to innovate. In today's fast-changing environment, organizations require flexibility and agility, which Weber's rigid bureaucracy can hinder. Large organizations may struggle with bureaucratic system, finding it slow to adapt by changing global markets. Need for creativity, the bureaucracy often stifles creativity, which is essential for business growth and innovation. The bureaucratic form of organization has been fundamentally questioned as organizations are experiencing acute pressures to change ambassador. So initially you will see that in the initial times during scientific management, more focus was placed on the manufacturing of goods because service at that time wasn't a big industry, I would say, or it might be, I'm not aware of. But more focus was on the production of goods and goods once because we just came out of the industrial revolution in the last century. So that is why the focus for most focus would be on uh, production of goods and also more on logic driven theories, less force less we had less subject matter at that time based on the other topics such as organizational behavior and also human resource theory and everything else. It was initial phases. Yeah. So this max bureaucratic theory we covered for hierarchical structure. There should be someone you report to who should report to someone else. Rules and regulation people should follow. SOP, specialization, division of labor. We know impersonality, no personal preference or bias, career orientation. Employee should be selected based on qualification and merit, and formal communication took place, no informal. So let's and this theory is around 100 years old. Some still hold true, some still don't. Also, it depends what type of organization, as we discussed earlier. Uh, we are manufacturing or IT. Even in manufacturing, if it is a large scale MNC or it is a small organization, or everything depends on the actual scenario. We can discuss the key issues. Hierarchical structure. If the hierarchy is too big, if you are in a large MNC where you report to someone who reports to someone who reports to someone who reports to someone at the top, and finally the message reaches the senior management, then what will happen is there will be a stark difference in reality between what senior management perceives to be the truth and what the lower management is actually experiencing the truth, and also the it takes more times and more hurdles to pass through, and maybe Chinese whispers happens and the actual crux of the matter or the actual message changes till it reaches the top management. So that is one of the drawbacks of hierarchical structure. Rules and regulations. Again, if strictly followed rules and regulations, there is very little place for innovation to take place. That is one of the drawbacks of rules and regulations, as people would not be incentivized to bring about the changes or better ways of doing something. They might just stick to what is said to be like if the focus is more on following the rules and regulations and standard operating procedure, which might overall like whatever improvements could be done by the lower management employees is all like the scope of improvement and the value brought about by that is gone. Suppose while doing a job, uh, an employee who is producing punching operation, he finds a better method or some way he can improve the value, do more in less time, increase efficiency. During bureaucracy, it might get like just to get a response if the changes are approved or not will take more time, so months or so. So rules and regulations, people might be hesitant to change. And this was 100 years before. Right now, if you see whole new domains pop up every 5 years, So you see in 1820 it was cryptocurrency, so blockchain industry came into effect. Right now we are living in 2025. Now you know what it is. Everyone is you familiar with the term of AI. Very little less people are familiar with large language models, but everyone is familiar with AI industry. 2030 it might be something else. So innovation is the innovation cycle is getting faster and faster. So that is why rules and regulation, you can understand why it might create hurdles. Previously, uh, if you in a country, if you don't have, you need to produce something in your country, it might take years. Let's say even if it won't take much to import also. Right now you can procure anything you require from anything around the world sitting from your using just your mobile phone. You can order anything from around the world, either be it be the company be in USA or be it in, let's say, China, or you're ordering directly from within India. Every option is available to you directly from your mobile phone. So yeah, rules and regulation might create a hurdle in that. Specialization and division of labor, as the innovation cycle gets faster and faster, if you are specialized and that job is no longer required, then you might be out of job. Speaking about the current cycle that we are observing in AI, a large chunk of Indian workforce works in BPOs, what we generally call as call centers. Once AI comes into effect, or it has already started, I would say, the jobs that are required for customer support or call centers is going to decrease. But the people who are working there, you see now they have to they are let's say they are specialized, they have done this, someone who's done it for past 15 years. Now his job, if you have done it for 3 years, 5 years, you can change your specialization. You can try to get work at some other place. Someone who has worked there for 15, 20 years, it's hard for him now. Would be, I guess, presume, in 2030 till 2030. And if he already knows this, he should start making a shift somehow. So in personality, you can try your best, but I believe in personal manner or no bias, it's very difficult. There is always bias because we are all humans. So yeah, that is one of the criticism. Career orientation. It should be based on employees should be selected and promoted based on the skill and experience and the employee, and the employment is seen as a long-term employment. This should be true too. This should happen. Uh, in today's world, I believe there are we need more job creators, because I believe talent is enough. People want to work. They just need a chance to be able to prove themselves to start working, like to show their talent. That's what I believe. So yeah, in today's world, we need more employee job creators. Formal communication, yeah, something. If everything is required to be communicated by formal channels, it becomes tedious. People might not report it for, uh, the, mm, people might not report it because of bureaucratic backlash, you could say. Let's say you're doing your work, you find a new way to improve, you message it to your team lead, who messages it to the project manager, who messages it to the vertical head. It's get tedious, you see. So, and also whether it is taken positively, negatively, it is not responded. Formal communication depends. So these are some of the issues that we discussed regarding the bureaucracy management. The focus will only be on the positive, but it helps to understand the negatives as well. Now, so these all were related to the production system initially 1800, 1880s to 1910, 1920. Now we are coming to human relations management theory. So now that in the last, let's say in the period, in this 30 to 40 years period, when you could extract as much value as possible from the production line, now people turn where else can we extract value from. So then it came to The subsequent establishment was human relations theory. Now it is not a single theory, but a collection of related ideas that emerged in the early 20th century, focusing on human and social aspects of work. Emerging in the 20th century, especially through work Elton Mayo and Hawthorne studies. This theory challenged earlier mechanistic views by showing that social relationship and employee well-being significantly impact productivity. These theories emphasize that employee well-being, motivation, communication, and group dynamics significantly impact productivity and organization success. Here are the main components and key contributions to human relations management theory. Alton Mayo Hawthorne studies. So the main idea behind the Hawthorne studies, which was conducted by Alton Mayo in around 1921, I would say, is workers are motivated more by social and psychological needs than by physical working conditions. Hawthorne effect. Productivity improves when employees feel observed, valued, and involved. Recognize the role of informal work groups. See, informal work groups very much important. I would say very much important. How the workforce gels up with each other and forms informal groups, whether it be in the form of playing tennis, table tennis, after work hours, or even by the end of working hours. And how do they gel during, let's say, breaks or uh, like some activities every Friday that are done in the, let's say every Friday there is some activity done at your workplace to foster team building exercises. The employee moral get affected by it. It shouldn't be forced. Then it becomes a hassle, or it doesn't feel like people don't like it if it is forced. But a generic the way effort should be made to bring it about organically. Yeah, there's a very good balance to maintain. Yes, employee moral and interpersonal relationship. Okay. Then comes Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs. This is related to the human and social aspect of work, but this is an organizational behavior theory, but we'll cover it in the human relations as well. That humans have needs and they need to be filled in a specific order so that they can follow the other needs, try to fulfill the other needs. The first and foremost is the psychological needs. In Indian terms, we call it roti kapda makan. है So roti kapda makan is the psychological need first. Then comes safety. If there is no safety, then he cannot fulfill other needs, which comes down the list. Then comes social belonging. If you feel safe in the environment, then comes social belonging. Then come esteems need to, like, yeah, what do I contribute from my point of view, and then actualization, self-actualization. So managers should create conditions that fulfill these needs, especially the social and esteem needs, to boost motivation. So that feels around correct. Let's arrange it here. And Douglas McGregor theory, theory X and theory Y. Theory X is like there are two different extreme approaches, I would say. Theory X, X is cross. That means no trust. Remember it like this. Douglas McGregor theory X means no trust. X cross. So it assumes employees are lazy, avoid responsibility, and need close supervision. So we'll act as a manager who assumes this. And theory Y assumes employees are motivated, enjoy work, and seek responsibility when given the right environment. So yeah, and the application promotes a participative and supportive management style that aligns with theory Y. So this happens during my MBA journey. Uh, One thing I observed once I was placed in one of the groups during my um, first term. Okay, I was placed in a group of 5 people, me included. What I saw was the other 4 people were trying to do their part of the work in like in the best possible manner. They were trying to see what's the best way we can do this. Everyone, the other 4 people. And we were doing it in a group. Okay, we were on a call, everyone was doing their work and they were discussing and doing it, and they were trying to come up with the best ideas for their part of the project. I could say that just being in that group like motivated me or forced me to give my best or do better, because I was like, okay, they are giving, and it was not from a competition point of view that I want to do better from them so that I can prove that, oh, I am better. No, because I was seeing that they were truly trying to do their best for the project and discussing it and open to ideas or discussions. It motivated me, literally motivated me to perform the best as I could to contribute to the team, which is a feeling very hard to replicate, or like very few times. This I'm talking about is 2020. In the 5 years, I have this feeling that I got while working with that group. Very few times has it been replicated or felt it again during these 5 years. So yes, that group I would say is would require a manager in from theory. Why? Who assumes people are motivated, enjoy work, and seek responsibility when given the right environment. And yeah, theory X, people assumes employees are lazy, avoid responsibility, because the behavior or how to handle employees very much depends on these two modes. So if let's say people are lazy, avoid responsibility, and need close supervision, but there is a manager who believes no, no, they will do their work. I believe them and they are motivated. It will lead to nowhere. And let's say if people are motivated, enjoy work, seek responsibility, and there is a manager who tries to like he assumes no, no, they can't do any work, so he will give them responsibility and he will try to control. So that will be a very big no-no. So yeah, or if there is something in between similarly. So as a manager, because you are an MBA, you have to take a master's in business administration. If you are a manager, you need to be able to deal with all the different types of situations. So with this help of theory, you are better equipped. You can analyze yourself. What type of manager setting would I prefer? What I'm good at? And even if another scenario arises, how can I deal with it? That is where all these theories helps you. It equips you with, let's say, this is all equipping you with the right tools to be able to bring more value to the organizations and overall to mm, yourself and the humanity in general. So that's where all these theories help. So this also helps. And then there are other theories as well which we haven't discussed. Just mentioned that Chris agrees maturity theory, need for employee growth and involvement, supportive management improves product. Nuances like art, participative management system, Mary Parker, Follett, integration and conflict resolution. While human relations and behavioral approach theory are two similar uh, yet different theories, in the context of examination, we will consider them one. Students are advised to use them interchangeably during the UGC NET examination. This is important. There are like some like you can see here. Human relations theory and behavioral approach here are two different topics, but in UGC NET examination, their terms would be used interchangeably because we have prepared the theory and we have observed the questions that I've asked in the examination. We observe that this is the two. Also, like in some of the very few, but in some of the theories, one of the two theories, let's say actually the internet is has a consensus. Internet agrees that oh, this theory was established in 1920. But what you have observed in the examination multiple times, if the question is asked on their theory, they have mentioned that the correct answer is 1930. So also the absolute truth is that it was established in 1920, like of absolute truth of the internet. We will go with what the unit says. You know, like for the examination, what is important. And if examination people say we have come to the conclusion that they regard 1930 as the year of founding of that theory, we have put the date 1930 or 1930. So this is customized to the UGC NET management syllabus asked in the examination. While human relations theory and behavioral approach theory are two yet similar different theories in the context of examination. So this you can read it by yourself, but one of the human relations theory, key influence emphasis on communication, group dynamics, and employee well-being. Whereas behavioral approach draws psychology, sociology, meaning what does human relations theory? It will give you, okay, this is how employees should communicate or people should communicate. This should be the group and dynamics. It is on a broader level. And what behavioral approach? Individual level. What is the psychology of that employee? What is the sociology of that employee? What is the motivation of a single employee? So that is how they differ. To cover it in short, you can read it to get more understanding. So we mark this as complete. So this is done. So now we have 10 minutes left for the stream. So again, right now we will go for, uh, we can say, yes, we will go for the solving of the questions. Yes, this is better. So yeah, we will try to go for unit 1 evaluation. We'll cover this tomorrow. So today we covered Henry Fayol's principles of administrative management theory, the two principles, four principles we covered. Around it takes, I believe, 10 to 15 minutes to cover one. So okay, this is short. This also we'll do one. Decision making, organization structure and theory. Yeah. So yeah, managerial economics. From here, managerial economics will start, which was also interesting. We'll see. Methods of demand forecasting include. We know that general opinion is no such thing. Also, while doing this exams, we will discuss it so that you get an idea how to solve it. So methods of demand forecasting. General opinion is no such thing. So we'll eliminate all the options which have D. So we'll go for ABC, which is the correct answer. Maybe we'll try to decrease this to 3 seconds. We'll check. Which of the following is not related to oligopoly markets? Coinage, there is a Carnot cycle, or we know Polem's which is also there. Coinage also theory is there in oligopoly markets. We will cover ahead. So we'll go for J.K. Galbraith. There are all the different theories that are covered by these three. We'll cover that. In rising income scenario, the obvious decision choice of firms having very low income elasticity for their products. Okay, income is rising. People have more money to spend. Obvious decision choice for firms having very low income elasticity. So in very low income elasticity means the demand changes where doesn't change very much. Even if income, people have more money to spend, income elasticity, the demand doesn't change with an increase or decrease in income, very low. So let's say I am selling salt. Okay, whether people money increase or decrease, people will buy the same amount of salt based on how many people are there in their household. So see, I have very low income elasticity. Even if people's income increase, elasticity, my demand doesn't increase change that much with the change in income. So what can I do as a salt manufacturer? Hmm, exporting is a good option. Search for new markets is also good option. AE. Okay, we see where there is E, there is no ABC. Mm, let's say I wouldn't go for exporting. It is a very big approach. You're understanding? Like, uh, maybe I can try something smaller. I can first cover my region. So we won't go for exporting directly. And exporting is also search for new markets is a better term. This, exporting is more related to like later terms like international business management. There are different methods company works also. In context, once you start reading the theories and you go through the questions, you will start getting the context. So this exporting is a valid option, but this is not in context of managerial economics. Managerial economics, like Generalized suggestions like search for new market, product innovation, discontinuation of. These are all talking about the product you see or the markets. This is a specific activity. So exporting is not there. So E is not there. Now it is either A, B, C or B and D. We'll see. So product line extension and product innovation. These two can be true. Discontinuation of product line ABC, discontinuation of product line, then what will I do? It doesn't make sense. I can't stop producing salt, no. So I would preferably go with product innovation, bring in some innovation, iodized salt, or I can say organic salt or something innovation. I can try, although there is very less option for innovation in salt, but some innovation like Tata Namak, Desh Ka Namak, okay. No change, it's just salt, okay, but the innovation like change of mindset, somewhat innovation. देश का नमक, या iodized salt, इसमें ज़्यादा iodine है compared, or which will help with your thyroid or something like that. Or product line extension in some other form. I try to produce it, or let's say product line extension. It can mean maybe instead of making small packets, I make big packets and give a more discount or something like that. So more probably B and D we are going with, and it's the correct answer. You do not need to know the right answer directly. You can check the options. You can use a little bit of understanding. uh, you see, there is a thinking that will develop. The more you will read about it, the more you will study about it, keep at it, you will get a gist. Okay, you will start thinking from that perspective. It won't happen overnight, it won't happen in 1 week, 1 month, but only it can happen. The main motive is motivation. How much you talk, like do you have a friend, do you have work with somebody, study with somebody, so there is a common thing. Explain each other these terms so that you talk more about it. And famous technique is the best. If you want to learn something, try to, once you learn it, try to teach it to someone else, so that you will know where your weak points are. You are where don't understand the concept well, so you will, because you want to teach it, you will focus on it and try to understand better to explain it, which will help better your understanding. And you don't need to teach it to someone else also. Once you read it, you can go over through it by yourself and try to like enact as if you're teaching. So that will help as well, help others to help yourself basically. Okay, now we'll go this. Companies always never read in a passage question, never read a passage first, always go through the question and the options first. Given below are two statements, one is label, assertion and vision. Companies are required to spend 2% of the profit towards CSR in the given time limit. The government of India has made stringent provision for CSR in the Companies Act. Okay, now we see. We see 2% here. These guidelines require intent companies to spend 2% of their net profit on CSR. Technically, it is saying 2% of the net profit. Here, it's saying profit. Those are different terms. Profit, generally mentioned, is gross, means total profit. Net profit, it basically after taking out all the expenses or yeah deductions, whatever. You get whatever remaining profit has. Net, you see net. So profit, whenever mentioned, generally it means total profit or even gross profit, which is called total profit. So I don't believe one is true. First is true. And if first is not correct, but reason, the government has made stringent provision for CSR in the Companies Act 2023. See, now this is not directly mentioned. The government of India has made stringent provision. I don't see it directly, but here is, you see, first of all, new guidelines. That is okay, but this India is the first country in the world to make CSR mandatory. Since it is the first country in the world, that means that these rules, provisions, basically rules, like these are strict rules. India, government of India has made strict rules for CSR because it is the first country in the world to make CSR mandatory. So the second reason is correct, but A is not correct. Both are correct. My bad. So yeah, you should always say from our point of view. I believe it was right, profits and net profits are different, but let's say in the exam they considered this. Maybe I'll include the option. Like sometimes this might happen that in the examination, the questions that they ask, like you saw the discrepancy between profit and net profit. They are considering net profit to be the same as profit, which can happen. So although always remember in exam 100 questions will be there, 5 questions will have mistakes in that, them always. Okay, so even if you get that wrong, there has to be that margin of error that you can consider. Even if I have done, let's say, 50 questions, maybe out of 5 or 4 or 3 might be wrong because of the paper or so. So even if the exam, it might cause you confusion when you go through these questions, doesn't matter. There are 100 questions, move to the next shift. That one doesn't make sense. Once you go through all the questions, then you come back and try a higher difficulty levels. Okay. So always remember, when some questions doesn't make sense, it's totally fine. Answer it to the best of your ability and move ahead. Here you saw we tried to answer it to the best of our ability. The passage assume net profit and profit are same, and it gave it as correct. We can't do anything. We tried it to the best of our ability. We move ahead. So yeah, we'll try again once. Restart quiz. Which of the following types of goods does the demand increase rapidly with increase in consumer income but slows on further increase? Okay. Essential luxury and prestige goods demand increase as its demand will consumers income increase. Inferior goods people will not buy. Normal goods, yes. See, once your income increases, the demand for luxury or prestige goods keeps on increasing. Okay, so this is not, I wouldn't say this is the answer. Essential consumer goods could be or normal goods. These are two, but essential consumer goods means essential. You will consume them no matter what. Your your income increases, decreases because those are essential. So I would most probably go with normal goods in this scenario, and it is correct. So you see, you have to have a little bit of understanding, surface level. That's all that is needed. Not too deep, but not do not be unaware. That's why I said you should know when you start. The best thing is go through the syllabus, the subtopics, little five sentences. Just search on the internet, LLM, get a general idea of what those means. Arrange the following goods in the ascending order of the underlying income elasticity. So as uh, okay, increasing order. So on the right, on the left, okay. See, I can say normal goods will be in between, no matter what you do. Where here I see the first option. First is necessity. Okay, it will have a very low income elasticity of demand. Necessities, which means with change in income there will be very less change in the requirement because it is necessities. You require it whether your income is more or less. This is the first thing you will spend money on. If you are a family of 5 and in general 10 kg of uh, sugar is consumed for the whole month by your family, your income increases, your income decreases, you are buying that sugar or salt, essential commodity. So necessity will always be first. Their demand does not change with a change in income more or less compared to other goods. So I would go with first like you can understand that necessities will somewhere on the lower scale. A will be somewhere on the lower scale. Okay, not on the right hand side, somewhere low elasticity. So A is on the right hand side, it means high elasticity. That means if your income decreases, you will stop taking or stop, like either stop it or take more, which is not possible. So these two are out. Either it is this or this. And this also places it in between, but yeah, this feels better. Now we'll just check for other options. C, where is C? C is normal goods. Normal good is placed very high income elasticity, and just above C is D, which is luxury goods. Could be. See, right now we do not remember Giffen and Veblen two products. Okay. Mm, they had something related to complementary behavior, We do okay. Given goods E, you can say one where one place it's placed at the top, another at the bottom. So we don't know. We'll just leave it out. We'll see where D is. See, luxury goods cannot have low income elasticity. D is wrong. I believe this should be the answer. A is given goods, B inferior, A necessities, C normal, D luxury. Yeah, I believe second is the answer. Why? Luxury goods, they have high income elasticity. As money increases, income increases, there is a change. Like people before won't be requiring, okay, when you earn less, oh, I don't want luxury goods. Once you start earning very high, oh, I want all the luxury goods. Let's improve my standard of living. And also luxury goods in general, demand is increased. So you saw change in income led to change in the demand of luxury goods. So it has high elasticity of demand, income elasticity. So D has to be on the right hand side. This is placing it on the left of the middle. That very low, which is wrong. So this will be the answer. So you see that is the thinking how you can go around the questions. According to Max, hey, we studied Max Weber. You see, today's application in according to Max Weber in an ideal bureaucracy. We studied bureaucracy theory somewhere around 1920s, right? It came and all its principles were covered in 14 principles of management somewhat, and it was more formal or logical or rational type. So jobs are broken down into simple routine and well-defined tasks. Yes. Office positions are organized in a hierarchical structure. Yes. This is a division of work and specialization. All organizational members are to be selected on the basis of technical qualification. Yes, merit was one of the options. Rules and regulations, you remember SOPs are applied uniformly, avoiding involvement with personalities. Yes, the interest of one employee or group of employees should not precedence over the interest of the organization. Personally, you see from these five, A, B, C, D are definitely there. You see well-defined task. What they did this time, the last option was an extension. Now this also looks good, correct, but if you know actually the 5 or 6 one in your mind, then you know this doesn't belong. This will belong in this. You see this line: the interest of any one employee or group of employees should not take precedence over the interest of the organization as a whole. This is one of the 14 principles of management by Henry Fayol, which is given as an option. So you see how UGC will try to give options. Good A, B, C, D, but we know A, B, C, D. We just studied this today. This should be clear to us. Arrange the following historical events in operation management in the order of sequence. This also we studied, right? Today, first comes scientific management. The last will come quality. After World War II, Japan, Germany started focusing on quality. So A will come last, we can see, and industrial revolution will come first. I'm sorry, before scientific management, industrial revolution, you see among the options. So it should start from in the series of oldest to newest. So oldest is industrial revolution. It should start from C and with A. C A A E E D. You see, this is the answer. You see how just knowing a few options will help you to find the answer. UGC is not, the exam is not so highly tough that they will give you similar options also. Even if you can decode 20%, 25% of the questions, you can find the answer. You just need to focus on what you know. Which of the following oligopoly firms architectural framework is often described as first mover advantage? First mover. King demand curve, no. Bertrand Cornott, either it is Tackleberg or Cornott model. I don't remember it. We will cover it in managerial economics. I will go with Cornott model. We can be wrong. And we are wrong. Stackelberg. So now we remember first few more I've done is stack. Stack. Always move first. We'll remember that. So within 10 minutes, it's better. We did 4 questions as opposed to 2 or 3. So you can see as we'll go through these theory. See, out of these questions, 4 questions today, we had one question which was covered in our theory from the first three, or 2 questions rather, which were covered in the theory. As we go along this route, we will cover more and more questions, so that will help us in covering. The reason why we do exams at the end of every day is whatever we learn, we try to apply it. You see, whatever theory is present here, we are trying to apply it because it reinforces in the mind what we have learned. Also, it gives us, more importantly, the reason I do the quizzes is so that we can discuss like this. I can show you the thinking, how you should approach the examination. It is not tough. uh, Whatever theory you see, it will ask you a bunch of questions even if you know 25% of the subject matter. And because the options are set easier compared to, they are not so much similar, also the theory is simple. So if you know 20-25% a little bit general knowledge of the theory which is being asked, and based on good selection of options, you can select the correct answer and clear your way into UGC NET management. So yeah, that will be all for today. uh, this was day 4. Tomorrow on day 5, what are we going to do on day 5? Let's based on our current progress, we covered three topics, three. Okay, so tomorrow most probably we'll cover these three topics and we'll try to focus on these three. Tomorrow we'll aim for 6 topics, okay, and then we'll see ahead. Decision making, yeah. So that will be all for today. Any questions? Any questions that you have? Just mention it in the comments below. It will help other people also when they see this, if once the question is answered, or any inputs you have as to how we can improve the process that we are following is most certainly welcome. So now what we'll do, we have remembered one thing we'll do every day, end of day 4 quiz we will mention 4 on 50. Okay, we will track this now every day. We'll see. So yeah, that will be all. Thank you for listening, and I'll meet you tomorrow in day 5 of the 60 days 60-minute challenge.